The time is 7:30 p.m.
And that means it's time for Adafruit Show and Tell. Hello, everybody. My name's Liz, and I'm guest hosting this evening for Show and Tell. If you would like to join to show off your project, you can go to the Discord at adafruit.it/Discord. In the live broadcast chat, there is a link you can join to come into StreamYard, and we will chat with you about your project. First, we're going to kick things off with some folks at Adafruit, and then we will hear from folks in the community. So first, let's hear from Jeff. Hello.
Boy, that clock must be pretty accurate. That was just exactly to the right minute.
Thank you. Yes, those real-time clock.
Yeah. So I've been working for a couple of weeks on adding support for a new kind of display to CircuitPython. And these are called by a number of names, but I call them dot clock displays. And basically, the microcontroller manages everything about what's going out to the display. So it sends like the RGB pixel data and horizontal and vertical sync pulses continuously. And this is pretty cool because we hope it's going to enable us to work with a larger range of displays. So anyway, if you want to bring up my screen share, I'll kind of show you what's going on.
Yeah.
And really, I just got this going earlier today. So I don't have a cool demo. I think in Ask an Engineer, Lamore is going to have a little more of a demo because she was taking time putting that together. But I started with this board here, which is from Tindy. It's the brand is Maker Fabs or something, and it's got a 800 by 480 display on it. Wow. And an ESP32S3 microcontroller. And it's just switching back and forth here between showing the information about the pinout and the video mode, just because I wanted something to, show and change. And we've got Blinka up here, so you know it's running CircuitPython.
Excellent.
And once you've set up your display, and if the board comes with the display, it might automatically start up. Doesn't do that yet, but it might in the future. Then it works just like Display I/O. So all of your Display I/O programs will come over and they'll work with like the much bigger display. I don't know what the next biggest display is. It's probably whatever's on the not Matrix Portal, the High Portal, Titano, which I think is like 480 pixels wide or something. This one is 800 by 480. And Display I/O is doubling the size of the pixels for the terminal just so we can still read it. So second up, this is a prototype board that Lamore sent me that she has shown on some of the streams.
Yes.
And it is running a square 720 by 720 display.
Nice.
And this display is just so sharp. I love it. And so those are the two displays that I've got running and the two boards. This is a development kit from Espressive. It's the ESP32S3 LCD EV board, version 1.4. You can read that right there. And it's got this, I don't know if it's a 480 display or a 720 display. And this one has a touch screen. So I'll be working on those next. This board starts with CircuitPython, but the display doesn't come up yet.
Okay.
And we've got other fun displays. Again, this is stuff Lamore has shown before, but a round display with a touch screen, a different square display, and then these two bar displays. Ones, yeah. So, I mean, just whet your appetite and think about what kind of projects you're going to put these in. This, I don't know. I'm imagining like a virtual vending machine.
Oh.
Because you could have like all the different things here. And I don't know why you would make that, but why not have a virtual vending machine? Maybe, you'd have a row of spoons up here. And I don't know, cornflakes or whatever you like to eat, and just a little silly thing. But I mean, so many ideas. So anyway, that is what is up. There is a pull request open that adds this functionality, that adds these three boards. Just the tiniest bit of sample code yet, but we're really excited to get started with this in CircuitPython.
Yeah, I'm super excited. It was great to watch you work on this, and I've definitely got some big display and weird display project ideas brewing. So
you were telling me about one of your ideas. What was that?
Oh, I've had this idea for a bit that the terminal from Severance, where they do the macro data refinement, I'd love to do a remake of that where the little numbers are swirling and maybe people could actually interact with it to do that. So with these bigger displays, cool. maybe. So.
Yeah, I want to see if we can do like a live moon phase on this.
That would be.
I think that would look so good.
We also talked about maybe doing a digital analog clock where it's an analog clock face, but digital. So
yeah. A Mars clock could be fun.
Yes.
since the Mars day is a little bit different. I don't know exactly how you display that, but an analog Mars clock.
Yes. See, it's gonna be so great.
All right, I mean, just so many ideas. It's
Yeah.
a lot of fun.
Yes. Well, thanks so much, Jeff, for coming by and
All
your
right.
work on this, and looking forward to seeing it.
It's fun to be back. I haven't been on for a little while, but this is why. This is why.
Yes. All right. Have a good one.
Bye.
All right. Next, we're going to hear from Phil B.
Hey,
Hey, how's it going?
goes good. He mentioned live moon phase clock. You know,
Yes.
tonight is a blue moon, they call it.
Yes.
It's not actually blue colored. It's just a rare occurrence. 2 full moons in a month.
Yes.
So go look for it in the sky tonight. Anyway, we did a project. It was a few years ago. It was a D20 die that you roll, and it announces the number that it landed on using an accelerometer. No, it's not Great Balance. It's a project. It's fun.
Yes.
But there's like 5 PCBs stacked in here at weird angles. And we decided to revisit it using the prop maker feather. And it turns out there's just 1 board needed now. So 5 down to 1. I won't go into the project because it's going to get covered on Ask an Engineer, and there's videos and everything. But the guide is live.
Yes.
But I did want to mention this clear case.
That looks so good.
This was done with the PCB Way service, and we have a guide on how to use the PCB Way service. I actually did this. I mean, it's really cool because I remember there was a period in the 90s where like everything was clear.
Yes.
You know, it's a little reminiscent of that. But I actually did it. It was for diagnostic purposes because the board sits at this weird angle inside there. And I was having trouble visualizing the vectors on the accelerometer. And it's like, if I could see the board and the case at the same time, that would really help me.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but the clear printing from PCB Way is, it's not the cheapest thing, but there's a price break at 2. So it's like, might as well get 2. So I sent one off to Noe and built one for myself. Don't know what to add there. Just then,
yeah.
Like I say, it's that 90s nostalgia
it's
thing.
It's very cool. And they also have a thing where you can have a Pantone color. So you can do like the kind of like a shaded color. So it's like still translucent, but it's almost kind of like the Nintendo. I think it was like N64 where all those like fun like see-through colors you can.
Yeah, I think that would actually be even better because the numbers are hard to read. I'm gonna hand paint into the numbers. They're kind of recessed slightly, so I will paint the numbers. But yeah, with a tinted but still translucent die, that would be like perfection.
Yeah.
So maybe I'll do an upgrade on that.
Ooh, excellent! Definitely.
That's it. Oh, I'll post a link over on Discord with the new guide.
Awesome! Thanks so much, Phil B, and excellent job on the code for that. All right, have a good night and enjoy the blue moon.
Yeah.
All right, now we're going to hear from some folks in the community. We're going to start off with Deshipu. Hey,
okay, hello.
Hey.
So, I have 2 things to show.
Okay.
First one is, you know about the Pygamer, PyBatch, all those game consoles you can program with CircuitPython, you can make your own games. I've been working on something similar for a long time. I generally make them compatible with the Adafruit products. But I try to make them a little bit nicer for myself.
Okay.
So I have one that is...
wow.
It's called Microgame 22.
Very cool.
So Microgame, U-Game, U is for micro. And it has this nice 3-inch display. So basically it's like Pygamer with a bigger display.
Yeah.
It doesn't have all this nice stuff that Pygamer has, like accelerometer, NeoPixels, so on, because I want to focus on the games.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't run from a LiPo, it runs from normal batteries.
Okay.
Because of that, I added a boost converter to it. So it can really use all the voltage from the batteries, like it can drain them dry, basically. To zero volts. And of course, because I also like this 90s aesthetics, I have a laser cut case for it.
Excellent. That's
the
great.
buttons are just glued from the backside with transparent tape. So that's how they are attached.
And it looks like ergonomically it's a nice placement and size for the buttons too if you're holding it.
Right. I basically made it fit my own fingers, and it has USB-C.
Excellent.
So and built-in speaker here.
Cool.
So pretty nice I2C amplifier in there. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
always
a
hard
bit
to show the
bright
displays.
for this camera, but maybe I can show yeah, if I
Oh yeah.
kind of angle it, you can see there is that's an adventure game I've been working on.
Very cool. And that's in CircuitPython.
Right, of course.
Excellent.
Right. So that's that. Hopefully I can get it. So I switched to EDA for designing, so you can now order those things already assembled with one click from their CPCB.
Oh, cool.
So I hope to make this available for that, so people can just order. The displays are not there, so you would have to add the display yourself, but mostly everything can be assembled.
Cool.
And the second thing, last time I was showing my tiny robots, tiny crab robots, so I upgraded one of them.
Oh, cool.
A little bit. So I thought, okay, I need to add some driver in there. And here is the switch. We can switch it on, and of course, because this is a demo, it refuses to work. Yay! So you have to believe me that it's actually working.
I believe you. I believe you.
There are animations I have uploaded, so I can show that later. And yeah, it's really tiny. It fits in your hand.
That's
it uses
cute.
those 2-gram servos.
Nice.
Which appeared on AliExpress recently. So
nice.
They are really fast for a servo.
Yeah, I love the art too.
Yeah, and the PCB art on there, of course, because I didn't want to make it look like an animal, because that's kind of dishonest to make robots that pretend to be living things. So as a mecha thing, and the battery kind of looks like a backpack.
Yeah, that's cool. That's great.
That's also, yeah. So that's all I have.
Excellent.
And of course, it runs CircuitPython.
Yes, love it. All right.
Oh,
well, thanks.
It works.
There we go.
No idea why it didn't. Yeah, so if you put it on the floor, it will work.
Right. Yeah. Cool.
Okay.
Well, thanks so much for coming by, and those are 2 really awesome projects.
Thank you.
Okay, have a good night. Next, we're going to hear from Gary.
Hi, everyone.
How's it going?
Good new. Gary in Australia.
Hey, how are you?
So mine's a little bit different. I'm now normally making projects and stuff, and I'll just show you some of the things that I've done. But the problem that I've got in a small little, tiny little study that I'm working in is always having mounting space where I can put up my projects. So what I'm working on is something called a Hextile. So it's like a little hex hanger. And what it is all interlinking Hextiles and these panels all sort of link next to each other.
Oh, cool.
And what I do is this gives me a whole lot of negatives, right? So I can get little mounting posts that I can mount straight into it. Yeah. And it just fits in gravity. So if I don't like where my projects are, I can just move them around. And having this tiles tiled over the wall, what I just put a hex on it, I can then put up my projects all over the place. So I'll just move the camera around so you can see my progress and what I've done so far. So you can see is I've tiled the entire wall, and I've got even a little shelf going up over there with sitting on some mounting posts. Wow. And I've got even my Tron legacy batons that I've made as well. So instead of having screws all over sitting in the wall, I've just got this massive panel everywhere. And as you can see over here, this is my little LED widgets that I'm adding in as well. So I can put like what I'm going to call a hive mind. So I can also have some lighting going in it as well. So this way, instead of having all the shelves up, I'll take the shelves down and I'll just put up these panels and tile the entire wall. I'll just put a hex on it, and yeah, the next step from there is sorry, I'm just taking a bit of time for my camera. No, okay. Sorry about that. Is that I in these between the tiles as well, you can see there's a little channel running,
Mm-hmm.
And that's just big enough for me to have some wiring in there. And you can see every cell has an entry and an exit point.
Yeah.
So I can run wires between each cell as well. So I can have like USB power points, or I can run power to each cell if I want to. So I can always have electronics or lighting in the backlit or something like that as well. So there's something
that's-
extra just to.
That's super cool. It's really
Yeah.
impressive looking. Do you have it posted up on printables for folks or one of the
So
files?
it's just something new that I've just worked on. So I just
Yeah.
thought I'd first bring up, because I know like even on a 3D print, and I've got a little printer that I've got, but to print one of these takes 6 hours, which is a bit
Yeah.
much. So I know I can put them up, but what I was thinking of doing is just getting an injection mold and having them done for a lot cheaper. So if there
Okay.
are people interested, then I can take it that way. I'm not trying to market anything. I'm just saying,
Fair.
I mean, even for myself, doing these are about 12 panels at 6 hours each takes a bit of a while. Takes a bit of a time. So
Yeah.
seeing if there's any interest and see how we go from there. But yeah,
Very
that's
cool.
what I
Well,
was
thanks
working
so
on.
much for sharing. And as you work on it, definitely come back and show us how it's going.
Will do. Thank you.
All right. Have a good one.
So-
All right. Next, we're going to hear from DJ Devin.
Hello.
how are ya?
I'm doing okay. I hope you're having a good night, Liz.
I am.
I
What you working
have
on?
a Matrix Portal S3 with 4 5mm pitch panels.
Very cool.
And I wanted to show everyone the difference and the importance of bit depth. So this is a 5-bit depth. Basically, whenever you make an image for display IO, it's an 8-bit image with 8-bit depth. And the most that you can realistically do with the Matrix Portal S3 is 6, and this one is on 5. And as you can see, there's a lot of scan lines. It's not very pretty to look at. So if I drop it down to 4, and you'll see that the background image will kind of have like that 2-bit color.
Yeah.
As you drop down in bits, the image quality gets less and less and less. And then if I go down to 3, you'll start seeing that there's less artifacts, but it still crashes.
Oh.
That's an issue with the latest Matrix Portal, that they're still working the bugs out, kind of. So let's see if I can do this one. And you'll notice that the scan lines with 3-bit is almost non-existent. It's much easier on the eyes. You get a little bit of a background image, but as you can see, the background image detail goes drastically down.
Yeah.
So these kind of matrix panels are really for 2-color display. So I'll show you what that looks like with 2-color. And all I'm doing is dropping the bit depth down to 2, and it automatically makes everything solid color. There is no more background image automatically. It just doesn't have the colors to do it. So then you get this massive black background with the pretty bright colors, and that's on bit depth 2. So there is a big difference if you're planning to make a large matrix portal panel project, that the bit depth becomes very important.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for coming by and showing us that kind of step-by-step thing. It's going to be, I think, good for people to see the comparison.
This runs on a BME 688 ITT semi-sensor, so all of these values that you see here are real.
Excellent. All right. Thanks so much, DJ Devin.
All right. Have a great night, everyone.
Thanks. Bye. All right, next we're going to hear from Sophy.
Hello.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Good, good.
Good. I don't actually have a project that I built from scratch. I have something that I recently repaired, which is this vintage 1960s tape recorder that I bought. I've been
super cute.
Kind of interested in reel-to-reel machines lately. And so I really like these from the 60s. I'm just going to come down here. So this is like the kind of tape recorder that people would have used like on their desk just to record like voice memos and maybe like voice messages. It wasn't really intended for music or anything with like high audio quality. But I'll show you where the little tapes are. So yeah, these are little 3-inch tapes, and this machine was made in Japan. So actually these are more like 3 1/4-inch tapes, because it's like millimeters instead of inches. But when I got it, it didn't actually work very well. There's 2 motors in here, and I'll just open the back later and show you the motors. But one of the motors didn't turn very well. The volume knob was really scratchy, and there just wasn't any sound coming out. And so I took it apart and I replaced all the capacitors, and I cleaned out all the potentiometers, and actually got it working. So
that's amazing.
See if you can hear it. I'm going to just play something I recorded.
Yeah.
Testing. Just doing a test. Talking into a microphone that is going into my new tape recorder. Let's just hear what this sounds like.
That's so cool.
So, and you can see the rewind is really zippy.
Yeah.
It's just like so satisfying to use this thing. And it's so simple. It's all plastic really, and some metal parts.
Yeah.
But if I flip it over onto the back, you can see the back just lifts off. And you can see the back. Yeah, this is like kind of a fun old circuit board. It's all screwed in right now, and it is actually really hard to flip it over without desoldering some of it. So unfortunately can't really show you the front of it, but I can show you some of the capacitors that I didn't end up using. And I was fortunately able to source the replacement capacitors that I needed locally.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, we actually have a pretty good electronics shop just in town. So I just popped over there with my shopping list, and I was able to get what I needed. Awesome. But the capacitors are axial capacitors. They're old, these are really vintage style capacitors.
Yeah.
Before they ended up going to like radial styles, so that you had less like footprint on your PCB, I guess. But this also has kind of an interesting battery layout. So what I learned is, so this is a twin motor design. A lot of these only have one motor and then they have a belt, but this one actually has one motor for forward playing and one motor for rewinding.
Oh, I see. Okay.
And if you look at these, the batteries, the C batteries drive the motors, and the AA batteries drive the amp. So 2 of the batteries drive the rewind, and 1 battery drives the play motor. So it's literally just double the speed for rewind as it is for play.
Wow. Okay. That's cool.
Yeah. And if you, so what happens when you turn the switches is, this is known as a rim drive style tape player. Okay. So versus a pinch roller and a capstan style. So literally each motor is touching the underside of, I'll just take the tape out. So the motor is actually touching the underside of each of these plates. So one motor is touching here and the other motor is touching here. And when I move this switch, it literally just turns one motor on or the other motor. So it's known as a rim drive, which is not ideal for keeping constant timing, but a pretty interesting mechanism.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah. So that's my new little obsession.
Love it. And that's so cool that you repaired it. And that was just an excellent walkthrough demo. So thanks so much for coming by with that.
Thanks. Oh, one thing, tomorrow I'm going to be on a stream to launch the new Make issue, which is out now. And it's a really cool issue. It's all about cosplay, and there's tons of people who probably Adafruit audience is familiar with in here. And it's tomorrow, I guess, on the Make magazine. I think it's on their YouTube channel. It'll be at 7 p.m. Eastern.
All right. Definitely drop a link for that into the live broadcast chat. All right. Thanks so much for coming by, Sophie.
Thanks.
Bye. All right. And now we are going to have Mark play us out. Hey, Mark, how's it going?
Hello. It's going great. You?
Good, good.
So I don't have something new yet to show. My lightning detector works. I've now had a storm a month after I built it. So I could, I told everyone to thank me for the nice weather.
I was going to say, like, you prevented all the lightning. That's excellent.
Exactly. Except the storm that hit us was fairly bad in the end. But it works, but the case for it is still work in progress. But while I was building this, I actually came across the board that got me into electronics 8 years ago. So I hope this sort of shows. This is an Intel Edison.
Oh, yeah, I remember those.
So this was from about 2014, 2015. That I was at a conference in San Diego for Gartner, and they were talking about the Internet of Things, which they still are 8 years later. Yes. I'm sure it'll be here any day now. And there was a workshop where they gave these out to build. So I fell in love with this instantly. There was some Seed Studio sensors they gave us with it. We could hook it up to Twitter through Wi-Fi at the time.
Oh, cool.
And then they gave away all these boards by lottery to anyone who attended. So I was lucky enough to get one of them.
Nice.
Which is interesting. If I'd never gotten this board, I'm not sure where I would have ended up.
It's funny how that stuff works out.
Yeah. So I just came across this. It's no longer supported. What I did find interesting is I just received this much smaller TNC 4.1 to play with Synth.io. That TNC has all the power and more that Intel Edison did all the years ago, but now in a much smaller form factor with a lot more ability to do things with it.
Yeah, it's amazing how much the hardware has changed, because even we were talking about with the D20 that Phil B just worked on with Rose Brothers, and then I just worked on the AdaBot clock that Phil B had also worked on. How like it used to take like 5 huge boards, and now like everything's getting smaller and more compact. So
exactly. I was trying to build my weather station that really got me into electronics on the Edison board, but it was still running Linux. There was no way you could run that low power. There's just a lot to overcome, versus that's how I actually sort of found out about Adafruit. I was searching for alternatives, got a Feather M0, and from now I'm here.
History. Yeah. All right. Well, thanks so much, Mark, for coming by and showing that. And we love that you've become such a big positive part of the community.
And props to you. You're a community member when I first showed up. And I saw you there every week, and I was like, I want to do that. So that's a great message to anyone else watching who hasn't been on.
Yeah, full disclosure, like I was terrified the first time I went on Show and Tell, like shaking. But we're very friendly, I promise. And we just want to, see your projects and just let you become a part of this positive community. So thanks so much, Mark.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
All right, have a good night. And that's going to do it for tonight's Show and Tell. Thank you, everyone, for coming by. Super awesome projects. In just 2 minutes, we'll be Asking an Engineer with Lady Ada and Mr. Lady Ada. Thanks, and have a good night. Bye.